Hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday, and welcome to another session of 40 Long Lives. It's your girl, Janie, aka Yanaj, and for the life of me, welcome back to For the Life of Me. If you are new, where have you been? And if you're returning and subscribed, thank you very much. And this is my platform where I talk about life as a Canadian immigrant in Canada. Okay? So, first of all, I'm going to have to apologize for not showing up last week at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. I was coming back from Cottage Country, aka Muskoka, and I was in the middle of a car. My network was all over the place. Anywhere in between cities in Canada is usually rural, and I use a really cheap ass network. So that couldn't happen, and I'm sorry about that, okay? Um, it's summer. I'm usually out on the weekends in summer, and sometimes my commitments like this are faulty. I'm sorry. If you're forgiving me, do me a favor and give me a quick thumbs up. Thank you right now. So also, what this is every Sunday I talk about questions that people have sent me throughout the week on my Instagram channel, which is at Bayanaj, or on my emails, which is at bayanaj@gmail.com. Excuse me. So what it is if you send me specific questions that I can answer, I do them on the channel right here. If I can, we might need to book a time. So if you have something very personal or private where you want to talk with me about, you can book a time with me. There's a link in my about section, and we can talk about it. It is not free to talk to me on specific issues, just so you know. I accept a donation fee for the services I render. So without further ado, let's go into the question. Oh, something else I really love to do is I like to know where all my subscribers or people who are watching my videos are from. So can you do me a favor right now and like this video first of all, and let me know what country you're from in the comments below, because it's always interesting to know who wants to come to Canada, right? And if you're sending me an email, my emails are messed up. So please put in the subject line 4D Lom Lives inquiries or something, or whatever your topic is. That way I know to filter by that. And without further ado, let's get right into the questions that were sent to me earlier on. And if you have any questions, and if we have time, I'm trying to keep this less than 10 minutes, we'll have your questions go on at the end of this video, okay? Okay. Thank you guys so much. Let's go. So the first question I'm dealing with today is, let me pull that up real quick. I shouldn't have gotten out of it. Um, okay, this person wants to know if a 1 year postgraduate work permit is enough to apply for a permanent residency. Okay, first of all, it depends. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to say it depends, but it depends. Usually, if you have 1 year postgraduate work permit, it's not about the amount of time you have in your postgraduate work permit, it's the amount of time you've worked. So if you're applying for the um, Canadian experience class, because express entry is the broad way to come to Canada usually. So there's like the Canadian experience class, there's the federal skilled worker and the federal skilled trade. These two are, I'll say, your play mode off. I totally forgot. Anyways, these two jobs are. One second, let me just turn this off so calls don't come through. Perfect. So, federal skilled worker and federal skilled trades are streams where your jobs are in high demand in Canada and the government is looking to bring you in. So usually you should have work experience. But Canadian experience class, you're trying to say that I have experience in Canada. And with regards to education, that is definitely Canadian experience. And with Canadian experience class, you have to have a minimum of 1 year work. So if you can get your work permit for just 1 year, maybe you only did 1 year of school, but you can get a job starting day one of your work permit, and at the end of it, you can get full time 1 year of work. That will be enough. But usually, it's too much risk because it's not often you get a job that fast, right? So 1 year would be enough, but usually I'd advise that if you're coming from a home country, you have some work experience there, just in case you know that you can afford to do 2 years of school here, you can only do one, meaning that you might not be able to get 1 year of work experience. Having experience from back home would allow you to apply for the federal skills worker or federal skills trade streams you mentioned before. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the comment. Okay, this person also wants to know, because I advise them that they should hunt for jobs as soon as possible while they're in school. They want to know if it'll be easy to apply through programs that do field placements at the end of the session. Usually, um, I usually advise students to, of course, look for programs that have a co-op, because if you have a co-op, that usually is a door in, a step into the, ugh, a foot in the door. That way, if you've worked for somebody, say 3 to 4 months, they can be like, okay, we know this person, we've tried it, now we can buy. And so it's usually easier. But schools, I don't find it that a lot of schools place you in this place jobs. Sometimes they just put it on their job boards that, oh, this person's looking for an intern, and you can get in and apply yourself and all that. So it'll be definitely easier to go through a program who has a co-op as opposed to one who doesn't, and then you having to source your internship yourself. Okay, next question. I stayed too long on that one. I'm sorry, guys. Um, this person wants to know if it's necessary to get an agent to travel for their traveling process, because they're trying to think it's a thing they can do it themselves. It depends on you, really. If you're a sleuther and a researcher like myself, I did everything myself, but I'm very knowledgeable in, quite knowledgeable, not very. Sorry, I didn't mean to like boast there, but I was quite knowledgeable about what it takes, what to look for, when to start. If you think all that is something you can do and you have the time, because I was kind of like done working, so I spent a lot of my time researching Canada and how to get here. That is something you can do yourself. If you are not and you don't have the time, it might be worth investing in an agent. But be careful though, because a lot of agents, depends on where you're from, take your money and don't put in the work for you. So you want to get somebody, you want to try it, like talk to them before you enlist their services. Don't just pay or throw money at agents, okay? I hope that answers your question there. Next question is, okay, I plan on doing a 2-year postgraduate certificate. First one to be done in January and, oh wait, first one to be done in August 2019, and the second maybe May 2020. Mm. Should I apply for the second program now or during the first program? So I don't know of any schools that start in August, really. So if you're done in August 2019, the next school will be starting in September. And because you'll be in a class with other international students, usually you know when it's time to apply for the next program. So my program, my first postgraduate certificate program went from September to say April, and then I had to do an internship for like 2 months. So because you're in Canada, you don't need that 6 month stretch to apply because you're waiting for a study permit from your home country. You probably need 2 3 months. So 2 3 months before the start of a program, you want to apply. But if it's a program that's really in demand, excuse me, guys, my allergies are killing me. If it's a program that's really in demand, you want to apply earlier just so you can get in and not be on a wait list. Um, I know you can apply for a second program 2 years out. Finish one or get to the end of one, then you start applying for the next one. There's very few schools that have admissions open for 2 years out. Okay, so for your study permit extension, do you need to present an offer letter and financial support? Yes, every study permit wants to know what school you're going to. Are they a registered and licensed school? And if yes, do you have the money to pay for school and take care of yourself? So yes, you gotta prevent that. Okay, cool. Guys, I'm sorry I'm acting up. This is just me on a regular day. If I'm not too crazy, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so next question. This person is really specific. I'll be doing an 8 month postgraduate certificate program ending in 2019. I want to get a 3-year work permit, so the plan is to do another 8 months course, okay? Do I have to start the second program immediately after the first one has ended, meaning end of August, start September? Or is it possible to work from September to December, then start the second program January and still get a 3-year work permit? Yes, it is possible to work for a little bit, but mind you, you can work only if your study permit is still valid, meaning that you can work full-time hours because you still have a study permit. But if your study permit ends the day your first program ends, you cannot work, so you're going to be out of status. And you cannot apply for a postgraduate work permit for only 3 months. That would be a waste because you only get that permit once. So if your study permit ends the day your class ends, which is highly unlikely because usually they give you 3 months extra, but sometimes the government messes it up depending on how your offer letter is written. So if that is the case, if the case is you don't have those 3 months extra, they make a mistake and don't give you those 3 months extra after graduating, you will not be able to work full time. You have to just apply for a next program, and as soon as you get that study permit, then you can work. It's a blue area. It's a gray area, but yes. So you will still get your 3-year postgraduate work permit anyways because it's two different programs. But yes, you can work between September and December if you have a valid permit. If you don't, you can't work. And do not get a postgraduate work permit for only 3 months. You only get that once. That doesn't make any sense. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Yeah, you don't have to start the program immediately. It depends on when you can, but you don't. But the thing is, if you're in the middle and you don't have a permit, it doesn't make any sense because you can't do anything. You can't school, you can't work. So usually people will just start their program as soon as the program is available. I hope that answers your question. Next question is, I would like to know what exemptions I would get if I bring my driver's license from Nigeria when coming. Would I still have to wait 1 year? Okay, this is a good question that doesn't have anything to do with school. I'm tired. Okay, I'm really not. But like, I'm excited to get something else that is not about school. With regards to your driver's license, it depends on how many years of work driving experience you have. Did I just say work permit? So if you have at least 3 years, I believe as at the time I wrote mine, I did not have to wait any time. All I had to do was present my Nigerian driver's license and a letter from the Nigerian High Commission saying that my license is real and that I have driven for that amount of time I said I did. I trust my Nigerian High Commission. They don't stress. All you have to do is send them a letter, send them your driver's license, and I think it was a $50 what's that thing called, money order, and then they write this letter for you and stamp it, and you take your license and that letter to, if you're in Ontario at least, that's how I understand the system in Ontario. I think different provinces have different rules, and then that way I did not have to wait for all the years in between the graduate licensing system. That's what it's called. If you want more details on this, the way it works, you can book some time with me. I can go into much detail about it. But no, if you have experience and you're licensed, you don't need to wait. Next question. Uh, yeah, I think I've done with all the pre-recorded questions I wanted to answer on today's live. So let me quickly see what I have here on the channel. Can you do a review on University of Ottawa? I heard the immigration laws in Canada would change next year. How true is that? The immigration laws in Canada are steady changing. One good thing that just changed that it's actually more relevant to me is you don't have to wait 3 years after you get your permanent residency to be a citizen anymore. I think it's about 2+, and that's awesome. Save me some time. So it's always changing. I'll probably look into U of Ottawa, but I don't have too much experience there because I'm not in Ottawa. But I could ask somebody and see what I can do about that. Um, I'll be coming in August to start school, but I'd like to know your opinion about renting a car for the first few weeks of landing in Canada. Okay, so renting a car is good. You can rent a car for the first few weeks if you have an international driver's license or even your own country's license, depends on where you're from. But usually, renting a car in Canada, most companies require a credit card, which you might not have if you're just coming. So, you might just, I think the best thing to do is just get a transit pass and move around the city, or you can Uber. But Uber is a more expensive version if you're going around a lot. But there's also something new that's called Zipcar or other ride sharing services where all you have to do is register for a monthly plan and you can pick up a car from any location and drive around the city. But that might take you a while too because the car takes a while to get in the mail. So yeah, you have to look at all those things. Is there another website other than Kijiji and Craigslist to look for a two-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area? So yeah, I don't know. So what you should do is a quick Google search of rent apartment in Bay Area. So there's things like Rent Seeker, there's Pad Mapper, there's Viewit.ca, which is the biggest one, even though it's really old. So that Google search will bring a lot of responses for you, or just Googling two-bedroom apartment in Barrie and you should see something. Or do student residences in Barrie if you're a student. I hope that helps. Next question. Yes, I've answered your question, Mahod, earlier on. It's you missed the answer. So if you watch this video when I post it, you can if you can actually get that answer back. So last question is Sheridan an okay school to school? It depends on your program, but everyone I know who went to Sheridan liked it. My brother did, and he absolutely loved it. So I hope you like it too. Um, so if do I allow you work while you're doing your studies? It depends on if your program is full time. If your program is full time, you're allowed 20 hours of working week, 20 hours of work per week, and that's usually the requirement. So you can do 20 hours, and during holidays you can work full time. Okay, guys, so that'll be all the questions I'm answering on this live session. If you have any questions or your questions haven't been answered, do me a favor and email it to buyyanaj@gmail.com with the subject line 4D LOM Live. FDLOM Live. That way, I actually see your questions and answer it. Or you can follow my Instagram at buyyanaj and DM me on there, and I'll be answering your questions. I'm so glad I was able to make this 15 minutes. So I'm so grateful for all of you who came on here and joined me on this live session today. I'm really grateful that I can help you. Let me know what your favorite thing about this whole entire experience is in the comment section below. Please give this a like and let me know where you're from. Remember, I always want to know where you're from. And anything else you could advise me on to do better at, let me know and I'll be definitely sure to look up on it. So thank you guys a lot for coming on today and have a great week. Happy Sunday. Bye, guys.